Verse of the day 3 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 7. But you, be strong and do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. In 2 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 7, the Lord encourages Asa and the people of Judah to remain steadfast in their commitment to him during a time of renewal and reform. This verse emphasizes the importance of perseverance, diligence, and faithfulness in serving God, with the assurance of his promised reward. This verse is part of the prophecy delivered by Azariah, a prophet of God, to King Asa after a period of spiritual decline in Judah. Asa's reign began with efforts to lead Judah back to God, destroying idols and restoring the worship of the Lord. The nation had experienced turmoil, and Azariah reminded Asa of God's faithfulness to those who seek him. The encouragement to be strong reflects the challenges Asa faced in implementing reforms and standing against opposition. Be strong calls for inner resolve and courage in the face of resistance and discouragement. Do not let your hands be weak is an exhortation to steadfastness in action, signifying the importance of consistent effort in pursuing God's will. The assurance that your work shall be rewarded underscores God's faithfulness to honor the labor and devotion of those who seek him wholeheartedly. This verse serves as both an encouragement and a challenge, urging believers to persevere in their service to God, knowing that their efforts are not in vain. Old Testament references. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 6, Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. This echoes God's assurance to his people during pivotal moments, encouraging Asa to trust in God's presence. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9, Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. God's call to strength and courage was consistent for his leaders, including Asa, as they carried out his plans. Psalm chapter 62 verse 12, For you will render to a man according to his work. This reaffirms the principle that God rewards those who serve him faithfully. New Testament references. Galatians chapter 6 verse 9, And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap, if we do not give up. Paul encourages believers to persevere in their efforts, aligning with the message of 2 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 58. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. This verse affirms the eternal significance of faithful labor for God's kingdom. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 35-36, Therefore do not throw away your confidence, which has a great reward. For you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised. Faithful endurance leads to God's promised reward, paralleling the encouragement given to Asa. Applications for today. Remain steadfast in challenges. God's work often requires perseverance in the face of difficulties, whether in ministry, family, or personal faith journeys. Focus on God's promises. The assurance of a reward encourages believers to stay motivated, knowing that their labor for God is meaningful and eternal. Strengthen your resolve. This verse challenges believers to rely on God for strength and not to allow discouragement or opposition to weaken their commitment. Trust God's timing for reward. God promises to reward faithful work, though his timing may differ from our expectations. Faithfulness in small, unseen acts often has eternal significance. Encourage others in their faith. Just as Azariah encouraged Asa, believers are called to support one another in staying strong and steadfast in their walk with God. Relevance for the modern generation. In a world that often prioritizes instant gratification, this verse reminds the modern generation to value endurance and faithfulness in their spiritual lives. It encourages believers to focus on eternal rewards rather than temporary successes. The call to be strong speaks to the need for courage and resilience in living out faith in a culture that may oppose Christian values. Final reflection. 2 Chronicles chapter 15 verse 7 offers a timeless reminder. This assurance invites us to labor faithfully in God's kingdom, knowing that He sees every effort and rewards those who remain steadfast. In Christ, we find the strength to persevere and the hope of eternal reward. God bless you and give you grace after grace.